What it is, everybody? It's your boy back with another reaction video, and I will be reacting to what am I reacting to? 3 disturbing true All Hallows Eve stories. I think this is from Mr. Nightmare or Nightmare File. Is one day. I think it's Mr. Nightmare, but yeah. But anyway, the original video will be in the description down below, so you can go check out their channel. Check out both their channels. I react to both. Check out Unit 522. Check out I think his name is Winsey, WANSEE Entertainment. He does like animated stuff. I don't know if he does like his own. I don't know if he or she do their own like narration. I know they do animations for like Mr. Nightmare and Nightmare File, stuff like that. So go check them out. Check out all the top Nuke's top 5. All there's so many narration channels, and I've done at least one reaction for quite a few of them. Go check them all out, especially around this time. You want to feel that little spooky feel, even into November, and they have some scary Christmas stories that they talk about, and that's one of the scariest parts of the year, Christmas, especially when you're broke. Yeah, and everyone's looking at you like, you gonna give us gifts, Daddy? You're like, not this year, son, not this year. Daddy's broke. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't even have kids. Anyway, let's just get into this. Where is it? There it is. All right, here we go.
In the blind,
it's Nightmare Files. Okay.
Drew put his hand down, and the both of us looked at the window. Then the voice said,
I want to play a game. Nightmare Files. I want to play a game. I was going to say something from Hellraiser, but I couldn't remember the quote. I am the way. Oh, this used to scare me when I was a kid. A damn Halloween Michael Myers pumpkin. It was on a commercial. Oh man, I used to run out of the room.
When I was 5 going on 6, I dressed up as Pennywise the Clown for Halloween. I wore the costume all day due to my school letting us wear them for parties in our classes. When we were dismissed from school, my father met me with a pleasant surprise. He was dressed in a yellow raincoat and had a hat on, and he was Georgie from the movie It.
Yeah.
He held my hand as we went to the car. Then we drove home. A few hours go by, and my father took me out to go trick-or-treating because my mother wasn't feeling too well. The night went on as scheduled, kids bombarding doors for candy, teenagers scaring each other, and parents losing their kids. Everyone loved our costumes. Again, I was Pennywise the Clown and he was Georgie from the 1990 It. My father held my hand in between each house and waited at the end of each driveway. One house took longer than others, and I remember that I was very anxious. Once I received my candy, I remember that there were more people than usual, and I had to run through a crowd to get to my father. I reached him, held his hand, and off we went, but it was the opposite direction of where we initially were going.
Oh shit.
I didn't think anything of it because of how young I was.
It's not as dead.
We went down one of the dark back streets where our garbage was picked up for some reason, and we were walking unusually fast. I remember that I said, "Daddy," but my father started moving faster and didn't answer me. Then all of a sudden, I heard my name yelled out from about 25 yards behind us, and it was my father's voice. I looked back and it was my father.
When his dad is a fucking pedophile.
I looked up at the person that I was walking with, and he had on the same costume as my dad, but when I looked closer, I noticed it wasn't him. I looked at my dad and yelled out to him. The man then let me go, and as soon as he saw my father, he started running, and my father was running full speed at us. The man took off down the alley, then through a backyard. My father reached me and he was out of breath while he was hugging and kissing me, also asking me if I was okay. My father called the cops and explained to them that he lost track of me in a huge crowd at one of the houses and that there was some sick guy roaming our neighborhood. Once we got home, he told my mother everything that happened. He told her that a crowd gathered and some random guy with some costume the same as him walked up to him while I approached the porch. He told her that the guy said I was a cute kid. They wanted to just snatch me up in a joking manner. Then the crowd gathered even more.
I could just
and he lost track of
gobble
me
him
until
up
he saw us turn the corner
in a
onto the
joking
back
manner, of
street.
course.
And that's when he started to run after us and yell my name. Now looking back, I bet my father was losing his mind and probably wanted to kill that guy when he saw us together.
Yeah, you think?
Until this day, I'm grateful that my father found us when he did, because who knows what would have happened to me.
Oh, you got fucked up. That's what was gonna happen. Thankfully, you didn't find out what was gonna happen.
When I was a kid, I loved Halloween. I went trick-or-treating up until I was 12.
I like it now as an adult.
My last time
Especially
going
when I got to go to clubs.
I went with my friend Drew. He loved Halloween as much as I did. This Halloween, everyone seemed more wild than usual, but it was Halloween and that's how teenagers act, I guess. We went to a house that had a flashlight lit on the front porch, but no candy. We noticed that everyone stopped at the end of the walkway. They kept walking past the house once they noticed that there wasn't any candy. Not us. I told Drew we should check it out. Or we should just let these people know to turn their light off because it's confusing people. Approaching the house, we noticed that none of the lights were on the house. As Drew was set to knock on the door, one of the front windows raised just a little bit, and the blinds moved back about an inch. Drew put his hand down, and the both of us looked at the window. Then the voice said,
"Hey, just come in for the candy."
The door opened a bit, and by surprise, Drew walked in like a dummy.
I was just about to say that. Dumb. I was about to say dumbass.
He said, "I want some candy." As he turned to answer me, someone put their hands on his mouth. I immediately ran forward to help him. Then I heard multiple voices yelling, "Grab him."
Idiots.
The door shut. I could hear wrestling sounds.
Idiots.
Drew was fighting these guys. I started yelling, screaming, and banging on the door, but I couldn't get in.
Idiot.
I didn't have a cell phone, so I ran down the street asking people to help, and that my friend was in trouble. Everyone laughed and were telling me that they're not falling for it. I got a block away and I ran into a police officer. I told him what was going on, but he was very skeptical due to it being Halloween. He put me in his car.
This is his fucking job to check everything out, even if it's pointless.
As we were pulling up to the house, I saw my friend's body on the front lawn with people just walking past. I started yelling and screaming to the cop that it was my friend and he needs the help. The police officer believed me once we got up to my friend. He was bloody. Luckily, he was alive. But those guys beat him pretty badly.
Said body.
They dropped his body and left. The police officer told us that the house was abandoned, and that's why we didn't notice any lights on. My friend is pretty much scarred for life, especially being that people were walking past him as if he were a Halloween ornament and laughing. But luckily, that cop listened to me. And honestly, I haven't celebrated Halloween since.
Your friend is an idiot. And you're dumb too for going to, well, we'll just tell them to turn the light off. That's not your fucking business. If you don't see they have any candy, you just fucking keep stepping. You don't like go in the house, well, I want some candy. Like, dumbass.
This all happened 28 years ago when I was 8 years old.
And I can say that even when I was like
father would
a teenager, I wouldn't have done dumb shit like that.
My aunt lived 2 houses down from my grandparents, and I could go trick-or-treating with my cousins. Between my grandparents' place and my aunt's place, there was an old dilapidated house. We always skipped it when we went trick-or-treating Halloween night because the woman who lived there gave us the creeps. She was very big, like a huge woman. She was over 6 feet tall and wore chains around her neck and heavy work boots. There was obviously something very wrong with her.
The fuck?
Whenever we went back and forth between my aunt's place and my grandparents' place, we always had to run past the woman's house because she was always standing at her windows watching us. It was so creepy that we never dared to run past her house alone. Sometimes the big woman would be outside of her house watering the garden or scrubbing the windows. When we ran past, She would shout and yell at us. She would tell us that the devil was coming for us. We told the adults about her, but they just
I
told us
looked
to
her
leave her
right in
alone
her
and
eye
stay
and be
away
like,
from her.
the devil is
One
already
Halloween,
here.
we were going trick-or-treating with my other older cousins. They dared us to go to the big woman's house and knock on her door. I remember being so afraid, but I didn't want to look like a coward, so I agreed. Dressed in our Halloween
I didn't want to
costume,
look like
we
a
walked up to her
punk
driveway and
bitch,
rang
so
the
I
doorbell.
did.
Suddenly, there was a lot of banging and slamming noises coming from the house. We were frightened, and I was about to run away when the door creaked open.
Yeah, that's when I would have ran faster.
The woman was standing there in the dim light. She was holding something in her hands, but when we saw what it was, we all ran screaming down the
It was
driveway.
a severed head.
It looked like a human head. When we got home, we were all shaking and out of breath. Some of the younger kids were crying. The adults
I
asked us what
haven't
was
seen
wrong,
this.
and when we told them what we had seen, they just laughed at us, and they didn't take it serious. My
Like it's
grandfather said it
Halloween.
was just a Halloween prop, and my grandmother told us we shouldn't be bothering that woman. After we all calmed down,
And she put a
we
root
went
on
outside
your
again
ass.
and continued trick-or-treating. However, we stayed away from that big woman's house. About a month later, my father got a phone call from my grandparents. They said that the big woman who lived next door had attacked my aunt. My aunt had just came home from shopping. She was carrying her groceries in one arm, and she had my baby cousin in her other arm. Just as she got to her front door, the big woman appeared out of nowhere. She had a rope saw and put it around my aunt's neck. My aunt flipped out and immediately dropped the groceries along with my baby cousin. My aunt managed to get her hands around the rope saw. She started kicking the front door with her feet as she struggled. Her husband heard all of the commotion, and when he saw what was happening, he ran outside and got the woman off of my aunt. My aunt survived the attack, but it left her with scars on her hands, along with scars across the front of her neck.
Sheesh.
Of course, the police were called, and they arrested the big woman. When they searched her house, they found something that shocked everybody in the area. The woman had been digging tunnels under her home, which came up under my aunt's house, my grandparents' house, and another neighbor's house. She had been bringing the dirt up and putting it in her flower beds in her garden. But that wasn't all. The most chilling discovery was that she had also built some kind of shrine under her house with candles and other stuff on it. At the center of the shrine was a real human head.
Oh.
Needless to say,
Is
it was the
is
same
it
head that we saw
is it,
when we went trick-or-treating on Halloween.
Pamela Voorhees'
She had
head?
already...
That was Jason Voorhees' mom name, right? Pamela. It was Pamela Voorhees. Doom, 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 doom. Nightmare Files. I like the VHS, the VHS like tracking. I mean, I hated it when I was a kid. Anytime you saw the tracking come up and the table's doing that, you know it's about to get ate up or had been eaten up multiple times, and it's like on this, and it's like at the end of its rope, and then the tape would just start working sometimes, or it would constantly have that static looking thing lines like through the whole tape. That happened to my my Lion King tape. I watched that movie when I was a kid an annoying amount of times. Like, I remember watching that movie when the end credits came up, rewinding it and watching it again right then. I think I did that once. I think it was like a summer. I did that. I watched The Lion King. I think it was for a week, or maybe it was 3 days or something like that. And just watching it and then rewinding and watching again, and only stopped to use the bathroom and get something to eat and bring it in there and watch in the living room and watch it again. Like that. I watched that movie so much, and when it got ate up, it like it started getting, but it first started getting those tracking lines, and it would be constantly going through, and I hated it. But I like watching the movie so much that I just whatever. And then one day the tape got ate up in the VCR, and I remember even as a little kid I knew how to open the VCR up and get the tape out because I knew how to fix those, and I tried to fix it with tape, in which I had fixed a few VHS tapes before with tape, but this one it just didn't work, and it kept getting eaten up. And every time it gets to that part, it got ate up. It kept getting eaten up, and it would stop. And I got to open the VCR up and try to do it again. I think I did that 4 times, maybe 5 times, and fixing it. And then I guess the point I was like, it's done, and I just threw the tape away. That also happened with my Ninja Turtles tape, but I got eaten up. I watched that multiple times, and I remember my dad bought that. He bought that Ninja Turtles tape. I was so happy. He bought that. I think it was in 1991. Because we went to the movies to go see that movie. And I think it was in 91 when he bought it. Because I know it has been some time since the movie had come out. I think it was, and that movie came out in 1990. So it had to be 91. I watched that movie so much. Oh, I got the DVDs of all 3 over there somewhere. And, I watched that movie so much that finally ate up. I remember it was like a Pizza Hut commercial at the beginning of it, with like some kid at a baseball game or something. It was like, and he caught like he caught the ball, and then the hitter was out, because anyone knows baseball know that he caught it. The ball didn't hit the ground. He caught it, and the hitter was out. And they was singing some song, and I remember it was a Pizza Hut commercial, and I remember that commercial at the beginning of that movie. It was another commercial too, but for some reason that one is the one that stuck with me and the one I remember. Anyone who had that movie back in the day on VHS knows what I'm talking about. And it was like, what was that song? All I remember was like, and the baseball falls into my glove. And it was like he was the hero who won the game. But yeah. Anyway, that story with that kid, they were teenagers, and he went in that house. He's like, what are you doing? Oh, it was some candy. Like, I'm sorry that he got his ass beat and then just dumped on the front lawn, and he's scarred for life from that. But you're an idiot. Like, you're an idiot for that. It's like, there's a light on outside the house. Every other house, I guess, maybe it's a tradition. I've been in neighborhoods where, or even the neighborhood I live in now, but they don't do it anymore. But they used to have candy like just outside with the light on, so kids could just come up, get the candy, and then leave. Like, even here where they did that, like, if you saw a light on in the house, because some people leave and go to parties or whatever, and they had a porch light on. So, well, there's not a lot of porches up in Illinois. This is like down south, a lot of porches, but not up here. But anyway, they had a porch light on, or their front door light on, and they could be going. So you can come up and knock on the door, but if the door just opens and you don't see a person, and they're like, come in and get the candy, and you can't see them, you just see like a pitch black house, and you just walk in talking about, oh, candy. Like, see, I can say this kid's a dummy, because even as a teenager, I would have never done that. I wouldn't have walked up to the house, because the only time I went trick-or-treating was when, like, me and my friend took it, like, his little brother and his cousin and stuff trick-or-treating. I've never been trick-or-treating on my own, because my dad just didn't tolerate that stuff, because we didn't celebrate Halloween. But I would never just walk into a stranger's house like that. and it's pitch black, and you hear is a voice telling me, "Come in and get the candy." Like, I've been like, "No," and turned around and walked away. Like, I feel bad for the kid, but that's a lesson that he needed to learn. I hate that it scarred him, and he probably almost died. Luckily, he has a friend like you who went to go get the police when you couldn't help him, and luckily he was able to find the cop. You know, it unfortunately had to happen around Halloween where a bunch of people, you know, pull pranks, and it has that, you know, boy crap wolf mentality. So people are like, listen, I don't believe you. Like, but unfortunately that happened. But that's a lesson that he needed to learn. I do hate that he had to learn it, but that was dumb. Even as a teenager, maybe you'd have said you were like 7, maybe 8. If you were under the age of 10, I would have gave you a little bit more of the benefit of the doubt. Because I'm like, well, you're a dumb any kid, but even me, I wouldn't have done it. Because in my head, I'd have been like, if my dad finds out that I went in these people's house, he's going to beat my ass. So I wouldn't have gone because I was under fear of my dad beating my ass, because my dad had beaten my ass before for doing something like that. Not going into somebody's house, but just going down to their house. Because I remember when I was a kid, it was a girl on the end of the block where we lived that I liked, and we kind of like friends or whatever. And my dad didn't like me going down to the end of the block because she lived near a house with some people. Well, I guess they were kind of shady. I mean, they weren't really shady. My dad just thought they were shady. And I remember he didn't really like the uncle that lived there because it was like a family. And I knew the kids that lived there because we went to school together. But I think it was the dad's brother who lived there with. I think he had like some drug problems and stuff like that because he looked like kind of like a crackhead when I was saying. But I don't think he was a crack. I think he was a wino. Because I used to see him. He always had like a drink, but he had it in like a paper bag. So I guess that's for like the police, even though the police know what that is, because everybody does that. Because you're not supposed to be, drinking like with open bottle or walking around on the streets. And he did not want me going down there, but I liked the girl. And I think she liked me. At least I felt that way. And she was like, "Oh, you come down to my house." And her mother was nice. So I remember I went down there. And then the kids who lived next door to her, like I said, well, that guy there was friends of mine too. But I didn't go in anybody's house. And I remember going down there and playing with them for like, maybe an hour. Maybe it might have been longer than that. I don't know. I was a kid. Kids lose track of time all the time. And I went back home. I was like, oh, I need to go back home. I've been down here too long. I went back home. As soon as I got to my neighbor's house, that was next to our house, and I was going past, because their driveway, I could see into like my backyard. My dad was in the backyard, like he was looking for me. I don't know why he was looking for me, like around the fence or something, because it's not like we had a bunch of like bushes or something. Like I'd be hiding back there. And I remember I was like, it was just as I got like past my neighbor's house and I could see in the backyard, I saw my dad, and I was like, and I know he saw me, but I think he didn't know if he saw me. He saw something because he stopped and looked, and then when I was like looking, I was trying to look around without him seeing me, and when I looked around, he was gone. I hauled ass into the front door, got inside, and ran and hid behind my parents' water bed, because it was like a big space behind their water bed, their bed frame. And I stayed back there, I think 3 hours. Like, oh my God. And that just made it worse when I found them. I came out, and my dad, he was livid because he said, "I know you went down there." He said, because I saw you when you was walking back. Because I was like, I think he saw me. And yep, he did. Because he walked back around the front of the house, but I had ran into the house by the... Oh, man, he beat my ass for that. But, like I said, you know, my dad was just like, my dad's very, you know, protective of his kid. Like, he didn't want us to leave the block. Even my older brother, who was 6 years older than me, you know, at the time. So, how old was I? When that happened, I think I was 7. I think I was 7. Was I 8? Because me and my brother went to the same school. Like I said, he's 6 years older than me. So, yeah, so he was like 13, 14. And he didn't even want him leaving the block. But he was a little more lenient with him than with me, of course, because I was a little kid. But there's a bunch of times I left, like, the block, and he didn't know it. It was multiple times I left, and my dad didn't know. I ran the risk of he might come out and see me, or see me gone, and me and my friends are not in the back alley or whatever. and that actually rarely happened, but that time, yeah, he got my ass. But yeah, that I would never have done that. Walked into my house, especially so I'm at night and the door just creaks open like that. And hell no, somebody like, come in and get the candy. Like that is the most idiotic thing. And like I said, I know they're kids. I know you say they're teenagers, but still, that is dumb. Like, to do that, I would have never done that. I don't want candy that bad. Like, it's like that. And but his friend was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I want some candy." Like, your friend is dumb. I'm sorry, I would not be around that person after that. Like, he probably didn't. They both seem to be scarred. But I mean, like I said, I hope he learned his lesson. Unfortunately, it fucked him up mentally and physically because he had his ass whooped. But that was dumb. And at least the other kid, like, this dude's dressed up. He just so happened to grab the hand of a pedophile who's dressed up just like his dad, who's dressed up like Georgie from It. And that just happened to be bad luck. He just happened to grab him. He's dressed up like Pennywise. And his dad's just like Georgie, and he grabbed this pedophile's hand who's dressed up the same way as Georgie. So that was just bad luck. And what was the other one? That last one with the ass kicking, that one, like that one kind of pissed me off. I'm like, that was dumb for him to do that. I mean, I know kids are dumb, stupid, dumb, idiot kids. Like, I was a stupid, dumb, idiot kid myself, but still, like, I wasn't that dumb to do that, you know, as a kid. More so under fear of my dad gonna beat my ass, especially when I was under the age of 14. But, like, what was the other one? I don't even remember. But anyway, like, I've been talking for too long, so hope y'all enjoyed my reaction. If you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up button down below. Make sure to subscribe if you're new here. Hit that bell. You can be notified when I upload new videos. Comment down below. Share this video. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.